and has been using my car. She does it like like car sharing, like Hui. They have something else. What is it? Zip cars, I think, on the mainland. So she uses my car like a zip car. So when she needs it, especially when my mom was still alive, she would just come and because I would exercise, right, Cody? I have to exercise. I'd walk from my house right by the cafeteria up the hill to here, and my sister would just go to my house. She had the key, so if she needed a car to get something from mom, she just grab the car and go.
So are you guys like? Is the class start? What time does the class start?
11:30. I never come. I never come on time. It's not your fault.
Oh.
And I don't know. I gotta check.
So where's my mouse? Oh. So you guys, this is your last semester? Yeah. Awesome, yeah. Are you guys going back to school or yeah? No.
Hell no. No and hell no.
Wow. I mean, maybe. Maybe? Maybe. I'll think about it. You know, you'll start to miss it after you work for a while. You'll be like, man, I need to learn something new, like Mark's. Do work for a little while. So I came back here after I graduated. I came back here for my MBA. 5 years, no, took 2 years off from school, and then I was like, came back. Took me like 3 years to get my 3 or 4. Only take one night class if you do come back at a time. Because the first term I came back, I was like, oh, I'm not doing this again. If you work full time and you try and take 2 classes, it's kind of not fun anymore. When you take one, it's something different. Like you just go 1 night a week. It's really different, right? From working. And you can focus. But if you had 2, it's like stressful. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Because you still have to work full time, you know? So
I'm going to be the camera person today. So we're recording this probably for the benefit of Connor. Connor, I hope you can hear this. We're doing this for you. Know that we love you so much that we're going to do this class just for you, so that you don't feel like you missed out. Anyway,
Who's Connor? Oh, is that the only person missing?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So this is Jessica.
Hello, Connor.
Yeah. Make him guilt trip the guy, man.
Do you know that Wayne was my teacher like
almost 35 years?
28 years ago.
3 years. 30. It's a nice round number.
That's a long time.
Jeez, how long have you been teaching?
Yeah, 28 years ago.
Okay. How do you think I got so bad at it? In the beginning, I felt like I was supposed to prepare and make sure that my class was on point, and then now it's just like talk story time.
and you know, like back then, like you had a lot, like law. You have a lot of. Well, he taught mostly business law, and I think I took business law from him.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a lot of things change. So I know nothing now because there's like 28 years go by, all kinds of different stuff. Yeah. So, but anyway, I don't know what. I did a very skeletal business plan because I have a full-time job, you know, so it's kind of stressful, right? Trying to do a thing. Anyway, but I didn't know what you wanted me to start with. Like, what
start with if you could, start with the concept again. Why is it that you wanted to do this?
So, you know, after you work for a long time and I know where you are now because I used to like eat Simon and, you know, ride my moped, you know, go have 3 jobs, right? And you're like, okay, I get a good job so I can pay all my stuff off and I can buy a house. So after 30 years of like doing all of that stuff and working, I got my house, you know, got everything paid, everything's good. I don't have jewelry. So that's another thing. If you try, you can be rich if you have very low wants. So I don't really want anything. I wear the same jeans. I go online to Old Navy. This is a tip. You find something you like that works for your job, like you can move really fast. Everybody's always stylish, right? But if you find something you like that makes you really functional, five of those online order. I don't spend any time in the mall. So it's like comes straight to me. I'm done, right? So you save all the time doing that. But if you don't spend a lot, you have, you can make less money and you're better off, right? So I've done all that. I've really wanted a house. I got my kid, and now I'm like, better focus on my health. So then I started to like look at health things. And also like I notice in general, do you see how there's so much fighting in communities? Like, I mean, I live on the Big Island, so you see the Mauna Kea, and they're like, don't ruin our water, and they're gonna drill down, and this is like our home, and then you have them cutting the flag, and it's like this crazy, like craziness. So there's a lot of like fighting, and people want stuff, and people are not respecting a lot. So I'm at a point where I'm kind of like, well, I like my job. It's easy, and it's very rewarding to me because I get to talk to faculty, and I get to hear, like, I talk to smarter people to me all day, supposedly smarter people all day. Anyway, and so kind of like thinking of what can I do to benefit where I live a little more, because I have your needs taken care of, right? So I'm looking around, I'm like, man, I'm getting old. So I don't know if you guys are into alternative healing medicines and all that stuff, like acupuncture and, crystals and mind, body, soul, right? You could eat all the healthy food, but if you have negative thinking all the time, you'll make yourself sick too, right? So it's like a whole thing. So that's kind of like my concept. I thought of like, I don't really want to make a ton of money. And I've noticed over the years, when you work somewhere where you feel like purpose, the money comes to you. It just comes. Like when you're not focused on it so much, right? You got to make your basic needs. So my thing, and I was talking to him about other stuff, like, maybe I should foster a parent. Remember I was talking to you about that, and I would get disgusted because in the news you'd see like, of all people to steal from, like, do you really want to steal from a foster kid, like, who has nothing? But you hear all these horror stories about like, they have 5 kids in a cage, and then like they're taking all the money, they're malnutrition. I mean, I know kids get crazy, so you gotta maybe not put them in a cage, but like there's sometimes like you can't control them, certain ones. But like to have a malnutrition, you don't need to do that. Like maybe like if you needed a break from them, you kind of put them in a room by themselves. But when you see like they're actually the way they look, where they're not developing, kind of is like really like, what is wrong with these people, So we started talking about all these other things, right? And then fostering, because he does a lot of community service. And then I thought, I'm in a community, and I have, I used to I did sports. So I was basketball. So I had this like youth league because my son was growing, but it was because of him, right? Now he's 15, doesn't want to talk to me. I mean, actually he does, but he's in that team. So I don't need to I kind of need another hobby so I don't irritate him. That's what I feel like. He's still nice to me. He's a good teenager. So I thought, I have more time to think, like, what can I do? Because I see all this like disappointment. Like a lot of times people are willing to work for free. I work for free if I feel like that person is super appreciative, and they're not greedy, and they're just like trying to like have a purpose and do something good, right? You would work for free. Like how many times have you helped your friends do things and you don't get paid, but then you're like, oh, I gotta go to work, and you get paid for that, right? So it's like, how do you make a workplace where it's like you want to actually be there and work because you feel like you have a purpose, it's something like it's consistent with your values, and you're not super focused on like you have to sell this, you have to do this, where you just kind of like there's a qualitative, but you have to sustain yourself, but you don't need to like branch out. So that's what I was kind of thinking. And then in the Big Island, there's a lot of like the median income is like 40,000 household. That's like, how do they even pay for anything? But that's really low. And there's like big families, and a lot of them, it's funny because there's a lot of local people. If you go to a party, okay, I always bring, I don't bring chips and salsa like people like, you know, in the mainland, they bring chips, right? You go to a party in the Big Island, you'll have poke, you have all the like good kind of food from the people that make the least amount of money. It's all about food and like talking and having like a good conversation. They'll go catch the fish. The skills that they have, it's just that they don't charge for it, right? It's like they give, right, for it. So they could make a lot of money, but that's just not their culture, right? They're more about like having community and stuff like that. So what I was wanting to create is something where you walk in, imagine you walk into a store that you don't really know what this store is. You're kind of, and I actually did that here. And this is what prompted me to think, you know, maybe I should do that or something like that, because I don't know, have you guys ever gone to the Fukuda? I was trying to get her to come. This is a 70-year-old lady, okay? And she's been selling organic seeds, and she sells it at Dae Mark for all the farmers, right? So she's a seed store, but a lot of people think, you know, old time crack seed store. You go in, you get the crack seed. No more. There's no crack seed store anymore. But she's such a small store, and it says Fukuda seed. So a lot of people walk in thinking they're going to get lihimui, you know, but it's actually to plant for farmers. And she has all the really good boots that you can buy at Walmart. They look exactly the same, but she goes, you can stand in that for 10 hours and your foot doesn't get sore. They're quality from Japan, not the like made in China, like super, like after half an hour your feet sore. Because farmers, they're in the field all day and their back problems, right? So she's a 70-something-year-old lady that had arthritis, and she couldn't move, and she was really ill. And I randomly went into that store because my husband wanted hemp seed, because it's supposed, he's a chemist, supposed to fix the nitrogen in the ground, the soil, I don't know. Anyway, so I was just here, I'm gonna go pick up this seed, right? So I'm walking in the store, going, I need a bag of hemp seed, whatever that is. And she's like, oh, and I'm rubbing my arm because I'm always on the computer. So I'm like standing next to her and I'm like, oh, hi, you know, I'm just picking, and I just do this as a habit. Like, because, you know, when you're on the mouse a lot, like you just have to like, you just rub it to, even if it's not sore, to like kind of get the circulation, right? So I'm standing there and I'm like, yeah, and she goes, are you okay? Because, you know, she's 70, right? She's like a nice lady, and she's like, she doesn't really need to work. She's just sort of family's business that was passed on, right? And so she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, oh, yeah. She goes, you know, why don't you sit down on this? And so I was like, okay. And I sat down and do you want some water? You know, so I'm like, sure. She's like, put the seeds together. And, you know, so I was like, wow, this lace one. And then I looked around her store and I'm like, okay, I see boots over here. Then she has like this, have you guys heard of Kangen water? Kangen water? No? So it's this Japan machine that does hydrogen ion, and it like, it's supposed to like help you. They cure people in Japan with it in the hospitals or whatever. They use water to cure people basically in Japan, right? Or something, I don't know if you heard. So she has that, and then she has like seeds, right? And she has these other like things, and I'm just like, what? I couldn't really figure out. And then she has this super nice area where she has live plants, right? And they're growing. They have like Manoa lettuce and all this. And I'm like, what is this store exactly? I think it's a seed store. And I'm sitting down, and then I start to feel really relaxed. So I'm on this biomat crystal. So I swear to God, her plants are the greenest. It's like the energy in the store, like they're happy. And so when I go in there, it's like, and then there's like 2 or 3 other people, and they're older ladies. They just come and they sit and they talk, and they're laying down. And then I'm like, what is going on in here, right? And then she actually has a kitchen in the back that she cooks a little bit, right? So I'm like, what is this? So anyway, she's getting my hemp seed. So I got it, and she goes, how do you feel? I go, you know, I kind of feel tingling in my calves over here, right? And so she's like, oh, is it good? And, you know, you should later. So she starts explaining to me what it is. And she got into it because she was bedridden with arthritis. And someone introduced it to her. And I swear to God, I buy soil from her because it's organic. So she's teaching me how to do like seeds and stuff, like should I plant this one, or which one doesn't die? You know, this 75 years is, yeah, you gotta it's the soil. So she's explaining the whole, like this organic store. She's carrying this big bag like this, I have nothing in my hands, right? I just came in to go get seed. Oh, I go, yeah, maybe I should get one of those soils. And she grabs the soil and starts carrying it out to my car. And I'm like, oh, no. Like, give me that baby, right? Because it's a 70-year-old lady. She's so strong. But it was like that. We became really good friends. And then, you know what's really cute? A lot of people come in, and she told me to get seed, like lihimui, because they think it's a seed store. So she actually went and bought seed for those people. Right? And she goes, this is the best seed. It's from, like, I think behind the key somewhere, I forget. And it's like, she buys this big bag. She's like, I just give it to them because they think they're coming to get seed, right? But she's like really cute. So from her, it's, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't go shopping. Because when I go shopping, I'm like, okay, why are they talking? I need to go. Can you just ring me up, right? You go to the grocery store, you're like, so irritated all the time. And then, wait in this line. Like, it's never like a really fun experience for an old person. Maybe if you have nothing to do, like teenagers, they hang at the mall. But for us, we're like, we just got to go and get out. And then it's like the inefficiencies you see, right? And then imagine if every store you went in was like her store, where you went in and you're like, because she had to actually go and pull. She asked me how much pounds you want because you have a huge bag, right? So she's like making, but before she said, do you want to like, why you sit down? And then you're like, I was like calm because these like crystals kind of like calm you, right? So I was thinking, why are people so mean all the time? They're either hungry, they're rushing around, right? Or they're in pain a lot of time, right? Like, oh, you know, when you have something sore, you're kind of grouchy, right? Like, oh, I have a headache, oh, leave me alone. So my idea was to have sort of a storefront, because people will, if you ordered like custom shirts and then subliminal messages, right? So our company would be made in Hawaii. The shirts would be only positive prints. I do custom, but if it's anything like screw you, then I'm not going to print that. You know, like, because at some point you have to like protect other people, right? So it's like, if no one was to do it, right? It's like the consumer when they say, you don't want China to take us over, don't buy Chinese products, right? It's like your behavior. So if I don't want negative, like subliminal messages to people, then I'm just not going to print it. So I'll print anything that's positive. So custom, and then make your own sort of custom, but it's only in Hawaii, made in Hawaii. I only hire local youth to like give them a job to get experience. Because a lot of times what the experienced youth need is not skills. It's how to communicate, how to work together in teams, how to be responsible and turn things in on time. And the reason I know this is what's lacking in my son. He never knows the due dates. He's like, it pisses people off when you say you're going to be somewhere and you're not, right? Or if you're going to, oh, I'll bring that for you. And then you're like, oh, you didn't bring that? You know, it's like, you said you're going to do something, you do it, no matter how small a thing it is, because it could mean a lot to the other person, right? You know, everybody has different values or what's important. So there's no real way like younger kids can get that experience. So do something more with youth or with foster kids or something that they can kind of make a little money, but more importantly, they're happy. So I'd have biomats. I would have Kangen water, right? Because first, it's everything. It's like your environment, your health, what you take in. It's your purpose. So if you know, I'm making this to make people happy, like, you know, like let's say a sports team, they want to cheer for their team, so they make a custom, like, bless you. Vikings make, like if the Vikings football team, Hilo High, they're like blowing everybody away, right? So they have, you should see them at the airport. They're crazy. They have all custom shirts, like Vikings, and it's, you know, they customize those shirts. Like they went somewhere and made that. So there's a lot of team spirit in Hilo because it's all we have with no nightlife. It's only sports and like youth things, right? So they do a lot of like family reunion things, and so they customize and they show their pride together, right? And so having, you know, the purpose of you're making something positive, but in a positive place, and people that come to pick up things, or let's say they came in, they would, you know how you hate waiting? Like, you know, I hate going to the store, and then but if you had someone like Joanne go, are you okay? Why don't you sit? And then you actually feel better because you don't even know what you're sitting on, but you're like sitting on this mat that's actually helping your circulation, and you don't even know it. It's like super expensive, but it's like worth it, because if you can get the circulation, you don't have to go to the doctor, right? Like, you know how people always have arthritis and all this stuff. It's a lot of money and drugs. You can avoid that, natural healing kind of thing. And then sort of have expand from there, thinking like, I'm going to start with shirts because it's an easy product to visualize what you're doing. But then sort of anything that is a positive thing, like grow your own food, renewable energies, expand that way, like teach how to sustain yourself a little, like, because that's what she did. Like, I went in there for something else, and then she starts teaching me about how to plant the vegetables. So the whole plan is kind of based on my experience more. It's like people want experience. They want to know, like, have a purpose, or, you know, and going into a store has always been disappointing. You know, you try to get in there and get the hell out as quickly, because it's rare that you have a good experience in the store. You're usually, I'm paying for this and I'm waiting for you. And then they ring it up wrong, or they overcharge you or something, right? So, so it's funny because I wanted her to come, because me and her are total opposite. She's really calm when she talks to you, and she's like, you almost feel like she's like, what if you experience her, people I think would mellow out, not be so.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So they'll have some questions to ask you.
Yeah.
About particulars.
Okay.
For the business, but what happened? You know, the part that she offered you commission or something for helping her sell things.
No, so I actually love that mat so much, because I would go back. I went back. She was like, I gotta go to the airport, but this is, she was explaining it, sort of, because I was sitting on it. When you have time, come down. I fell asleep. She goes, give yourself like an hour or two, because then you really can feel the effects of it. So if the next time I came back to walk, because I live on a big island, I went there before I went to the airport. I fell asleep for an hour and a half on her mat, because she has a mat set up, a demo. And she goes, you're going to feel so good this weekend, because I'm always high strung, you know. So I was like, wow. I go, this is weird. It's hocus pocus. So I was like, I'm going to be back next week. I kind of want to buy one, but let me try it again, right? Because I'm thinking, what if this is like a random thing, right? So I go back. And then I was like, okay, I'm buying it. So I bought one. So she sells it to me. Go back, and then I'm thinking, you know, I'm going to be jealous, because where do I put it? Hilo or here? Right? Because I only bought one. I'm going to be jealous. Like, when I'm there, I'm going to be like, man, I wish I was here. Then I'm like, I could take it on the plane, trick it in, and bring it. That's too much work, right? It's a lot of lugging all this stuff around. So I'm like, I gotta buy two. That's the only answer, right? So I go back and I buy two, and they're like they're kind of expensive, but when you compare it to what you will avoid going to the hospital maybe for, it's not. But you know what? The initial like 2,000 is a lot, right? Or 2 or 3, 222. And then I was like, well, if you increase your body temperature by 1 degree, you kill cancer cells. And there's this thing on Japan. So I'm like, but it only goes 6 inches, and I'm kind of fat, right? So 6 inches, I'm laying down. That means I didn't get the top part, right? Okay, I need to have the top too. So there's this mini mat. So I ended up like, I need to buy a mini mat. Wait, now, I'm on my computer so much, and it takes away negative rays. When I'm sitting down on my computer, I don't want to drag it over. So I ended up buying like 10 mats from her. But I only bought 1 or 2 in the beginning. So she sold it to me. And then she goes, you know what? You're buying so many. Why don't you like become a distributor, because you love it so much? Because then you can get 20% discount. So she didn't want to make money off of me. She was just super happy that, like, because she's like, at first she saw me like rubbing my arm, right? And so she's actually an empathetic, caring lady. She's like an old grandma, like a grandma, right? Like, you know, oh, you need to eat, you know, like the grandma kind of, right? So she was like, you know, you're spending so much. I go, no, but I don't want to take your sale commission away. And she was like, no, it's like a thing. So, you know, it's like those distributor where you get paid anyway. But she goes, but it's okay. I do it because it helped me. Like, I don't have arthritis anymore. Like, I couldn't even walk. Like, I'm so happy. So when I see people, I think sometimes they're grouchy and miserable because they're in pain. And if they weren't in pain, they'd maybe be a nice person. So she's like, she's like older, right? Wiser. But so I'm like, oh, okay, how do I do that? And so me and her became really good friends. And she actually has for a certain thing, she has an exclusive license from Japan. And so she said that if I was to open the store, she doesn't trust a lot of people because most people are greedy, or, she kind of like wants to, she likes people like that. So she said, if you were to open one, I would let you do it. I'm like, oh, that's like, I got to start small, right? But good to know. But she has like the top of the line Japan exclusive, right, for this one farmer. Because her whole business is in basically farming. And so that's how I became a distributor of the mat. Then I told her I have to only process one thing at a time because I had so much going on. Then I would always see her and we'd go to dinner. I'd take her, she would take me dinner. And then I just started drinking the water. Weird thing about the water, I get migraines. Drink the water, I can't hear. That's why I'm like trying to couldn't hear. Like I never get sick. I was congested the first week taking it. Then my ears got like waxed. I don't get waxed. I couldn't hear. I was like what? My whole family was like so irritated. They're walking down the hall and they're like, can't hear me. Oh, that's so irritating because usually you walk by and you say something like, what? I couldn't hear. But I had all this head cold, and I think it's because like the water, what it does is it's cleaning out probably how you do a detox. So she said that helped a lot of her. So with that combination with the biomat, like she doesn't have any issues. And she said after drinking that water for a while, you can smell all the chlorine and everything in all the water. So then I was like, I really like this water. Where do I buy it for? If I buy it here, so I have to buy 2, right? So now I have the whole setup. And but in the meantime, I'm like with him about foster kids and how, so I'm putting these two together going, I'm so happy. I'm busy, but I go to her store for nothing. Like I don't even need really anything, right? If I'm in the vicinity, I'm like, hey, John, you're around? Because you're so happy there. And then I'm getting into other things. Like I'll plant these Manoa lettuces that taste like so good, but it's her seeds. And but it's like the love, it's almost like it's true. Like when you put love in things, it tastes better, or it comes out nicer, or it's more beautiful. Yeah. And so I'm thinking that's what you can do in like custom shirts, but have kids, they have pride. Yeah. In what they do. Kids have so many great ideas. And so it's a way to get them like art. It's like if a kid wants to major in art, what do you think parents are going to tell them? Be like, it's not going to pay the bills. You're not going to, right? But it's like, if you love something, you're willing to work for free. You will find a way. You just have to be able to look, how can I make that an opportunity that I can pay for? But if you do something extremely well, you will always make money. It's when you try and do something half and then sell. Nobody likes, like, everybody wants a value. So if they're like, oh my God, this is like, oh my God, they're willing to, they want this person. I only get my mortgages or home from this one guy. I only used to buy myself from this guy because he's the best salesperson. When I have a problem, he answers the phone, right? It's like half the other people, oh, call 1-800 and you're like going in a circle, yeah? So it really is the person, right? And so if you take pride in what you're doing, you could, you'll figure out how to make it, because you'll listen more to people or you'll listen to yourself. And so that's kind of the basis of it. And so I don't know how you put that in a business plan, I told him, because it's more a vision of, I will do whatever helps the community and makes it like a store that you want to go to, that you're happy, you feel good, like, and then maybe kind of be like down the road, open into like a smaller store that does food catering, because I'll grow my own food, or renewable, like agriculture is big there. So do classes on how to get organic material, but anything that helps your health, your well-being, that you become a more positive person so that you can go out and be, you have more patience for people when they're not doing, like, you're not always like, oh, that guy cut me off. he's probably in a rush, you should probably not do that. You might cause an accident, but you're not like all mad about it, right? Because you're not in pain. You understand, you have patience, and so that's kind of like the vision, starting with a shirt. So I don't know.
So you have an idea of what this is now? I mean, you don't have it on paper yet, but so we got a service that's being done, right, in the creation and the production of the shirts. And maybe you got to figure out what would be the easiest way to do that, or the best way to do that. And so far, you've heard about 3 amazing things. Not that you have to buy them, but I'll call them 3 amazing things. You're familiar with SKUs, right? SKUs. SKU. You never heard that term before in your business majors. That's a stock keeping unit. So it's the number of things that you are selling. So Walmart has 1 million SKUs in the store at any one time. Some stores have just one. They just sell one thing. The guy that I guess maybe like the teeter hang-up guy. He only sells teeter hang-ups. He's 80 years old and he doesn't care. One of the things that's interesting is like the stand-up desk, Bear desk. And they made the stand-up desk. They're very successful at it, but the thing about it is only so many people will buy stand-up desks. So how did they diversify their product line? So they needed to add stock keeping units or SKUs so that they would have a wider array of things to sell. So we got 3, it seems like so far. We got the map, the water, the seeds. That's kind of like a retail kind of operation. That's a little easier to figure out, right? So, you're going to have a store. You need a storefront probably to sell it, make it available. One of the key things you heard was the idea that people want to be at ease or to feel at ease. How can you get people to be able to communicate that at a facility, at a location, at a store, right? And if it takes 1 to 2 hours, I mean, how many people do you have to pay as salespeople? Maybe this is something where you can incorporate the kind of idea like a co-op. And a cooperative is where people jointly come together to share resources and produce products that fit their own needs. So maybe if the local high school wants to get more shirts, and let's say now instead for their cross-country team, because their cross-country team is really not doing so well and they want to have a team shirt. Maybe they can get the shirts, but they don't have money because people don't have that much money to spend, as you heard already. Maybe they could put some time in. They could put in 50 hours as a team or 100 hours as a team, and that in turn would pay for the use and the creation and the printing of 10, 20 shirts, right? So that they wouldn't have to pay for the setup. They wouldn't have to pay for the screening or the creation of the design. And then they could get that done, and then they just put in the labor. I don't
It may start as a online store first,
yeah,
right? With the shirts. And then how you pick up at a location and there would be a waiting area where they would have, how the lady is kind of like, I was picking up seeds. So it'd be like a small area, because a lot of people, when they start in a garage, right? So it'd be like an area that they could pick up or make the order, and then they would have, you want some water. And it's really cute. She had her granddaughter give me water, and she's like really cute with it. So kind of like could start as online, but then open to bigger. So if the costs
and that would be
is better,
could you distribute out of your house?
You can.
In your house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so would you be willing to distribute out of your house?
If it's just pickup, right? Or meeting. Because when you make a custom shirt, you're really like, this is what I want. Oh, this is the designs. Or you can even do it online. But a lot of times when it's custom, you kind of want that extra layer of, you're sure this is what you want? Because if it's custom, you can't sell it really to anyone else. But then on the off time too, we would have like a online store where we'd have customized like our branding of our store, like logos, like how we get local like artists or kids that really love art, or and maybe like a cross country team say, hey, try and figure out a design. If I pick yours or whatever, or I'm going to take a few, then we'll donate to the.
Would you like to start it as an online store?
probably that would be
So you could launch it
easiest.
really quickly.
Yeah, so you could kind of do that. And a lot of the shirts would be, and so the setup, because I only have like, I mean, I have 10 mats, but I use them. So like donate like 1 or 2, right, that I have. And then the water I can get from my location, but then I would eventually buy one probably.
What would
from the
you
store.
like to call the website? What would-
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, like to set up the C Corp.
okay.
So how do you guys like this name? Super stoked. So remember when I first came online and I was like, there's this one surfer. So I asked my husband, what's the guy's name? I forgot the guy's name. Is that Connor, the one that was the surfer? Okay, his name's Dane Reynolds. He's not like the #1 surfer, I don't know, but he's like funny. Every time they interviewed him, he's like, oh, how's it going? How's the wave? Super stoked. He's always super stoked. And every time I hear super stoked, it's just like, don't you feel like happy?
Yeah.
Like, I just like,
Do you
So-
think he might have an issue with that?
well, I went online and I didn't see any yet.
Okay. But just personally, you don't know the guy personally, so you can't ask him. Say, hey, bro, I hear you say super stoked all the time.
No, but a lot
I
of
wanna
people
call
say
my-
super
I
stoked.
want to call my company that.
But yeah, I just always heard it from him. I don't watch all the surfing. My
How do you
husband
spell
does.
it?
Huh?
How do you spell it?
Super stoked, SUPER, and then stoked, STOKED.
Oh, how? I don't have a pen, but just regular.
Yeah, like capital S, super, and then stoked, capital, so SS.
Okay, so 2 S's get capitalized and it's together, nothing in between.
Well, I did look. I made all the emails, so I have super.stoked@yahoo.com is my Gmail. I mean my
Okay.
Yahoo.
So
email.
you have that you've used it already. So over the weekend, go to ehawaii.gov
Mm-hmm.
and look for the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. See if the name is there.
It's not.
It's
I
not
went
there?
on to look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then look for a registration of name form. Make a copy of that, a physical copy, so at home printed. Bring it back on Monday. We'll work on that, and maybe we can get it filed. And then we can go from there, right? So we'll have something there, and then look for sample articles of incorporation. You remember that from business law, right? We had articles of incorporation when we talked about businesses and corporations. So DCCA, the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs, has templates for regular C corporations and regular nonprofit corporations. So find the C corporation one, the regular corporation. I suggest, and I've talked this over with Jessica, that we make what we used to call $1,000 corporation. Right now, I think we mentioned this already. 1,000 shares authorized at $1 stated value per share, or $1 par value per share. You remember the accounting entries for those kind of things, right? So now you're actually going to do one. So you're going to have 1,000 shares, and the original capital is going to be $1,000, $1 per share, right? Now the $1,000 corporation does not necessarily need to be funded with $1,000 immediately, right? It's just that that's the amount that they're liable for in the event that anything goes wrong. Now, beyond that, if we do our jobs correctly, then no liability past $1,000, or whatever the future value of the company is if it gets sued at that time, will be what can be lost by any of the owners. Remember, again, the idea too was that the C corporation would have 1,000 shares because you wanted to get co-ownership of it.
So I want to have, she's like a local 6 kids in the family. No one's graduated from college, but she has really great ideas. Super good athlete, like MVP basketball. She's 22. And you know, with the income and things like bad things happen sometimes. And just because you're lower income or you don't have it doesn't mean that there's no hope. So I want her to have part owner, and I'm going to tell her you have to work a certain way, and I'll give her more as I see, but maybe start her with 10%. So a lot of times in business, like I notice, like with kids, if you have a purpose, everything negative just goes away because you focus on your purpose.
Do you want to start it with such a high interest, or would you like her to earn the interest?
No, I'm going to start it with 30.
Okay, so she starts with 10%.
Mhm.
So 10% of the company is already subscribed to.
So she's going to have ownership of that, and she can earn more as she, you know, if she's dedicated and she like does the work. and I will fund like the cost, but she would have that and go.
And then do you want an incentive contract for her after that to get maybe another 10% if she does X, Y, and Z?
Do you have to have that in advance?
No, you don't. But
Nah.
if you wanted to stick around, then
She's like, too much paperwork is, we gotta keep it simple, just.
okay, so she gets issued. Somebody else. Are you taking? How much are you taking? The other 90?
I would have 90, but as like, let's say she does really good, and then she goes, hey, I need help, and I want this person. Maybe I can't pay. Like, I don't want to have. I rather not necessarily pay them. I want them to feel they're part of it, so they, when you know the success is based on what you do, you'll do your best.
So
not that I want them over, I just want them to do their best.
So anyone that comes in afterwards, you're going to be giving them or selling them or incentivizing them in some way to get your shares.
Yeah.
So you'd give them 10% of the 90 that she has. So you give them 10%. Now you're down to 80, and you got two other people that have 10 each. Okay, so that's the idea. You probably don't want to go past 5 people, right? Because at that point, then she loses control of the corporation.
Yeah, I'll probably stick with 51%.
Yeah, you always want to have 51%. Right?
But eventually, I want to change that 51 to my son. So it's meant to be for the kids in Hilo, that they have something. People that want to stay at home and feel like they can't, can't do anything. And I think an online store, I think this is the best. I wish I did this, so we didn't have internet back then, but if I was in business school, this is because this is something you can do when you graduate.
So we'll
do it on the side.
We're gonna have to wrap this up now,
skill.
so you guys can go. I can go yell and scream at my fellow faculty members and show them my students' first budget from 23 years ago. And so
doesn't look too mean though.
Yeah. Thanks. So if they're charged with turning this around by I would say about 4 weeks from now.
So what's really cool? I was trying to get Joanne to come with me this time, but she had her grandkids. Like, it's funny. Her store's only open like 3 or 4 hours a day. I'll go, how do you make money? You're only open 3. Well, call me before you come, because she's focused all around her grandkids. So that's kind of nice having your own business and doing whatever you want, right? She's at the age where she doesn't have to make tons of money. But so I wanted her to come, but today just didn't work. But she's like, oh, I would have loved to come. You guys got to meet her. She's so nice.
Well, can we arrange that in the next 2 weeks?
So she's like, let me know. So she'll want to come. And then the other person I wanted to bring is the person that I'm going to give the 10% to. But she lives in Bay Island, so I'd have to fly her in. So I have to see if that works out.
You got enough miles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
You can always go on Southwest.
Yeah. It's cheap, yeah. Well,
You got enough dollars?
Oh, not anymore.
Might have to do a fundraiser. Right? Okay, so
yeah.
I'll let you guys go. Thanks. So you know what's going on, right? So by Monday, come back with the registration and name, a skeleton for something. I'm sorry, you have a question.
Do you happen to have an email that we can contact you?
Yep, Jessica Hamad at gmail.com. Jessica, here. Jessica, and then Hamada, but no A, no A at the end. Hamada, no A, HAMAD at gmail.com.
Is this all lowercase?
Yeah.
Any other last questions?
You can call me too.
I have a question about the assignment for Sunday. Could you explain it?
You're just basically reflecting on what happened this week.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's gonna be that way every week. And then whatever you did as a group, the schedule that you had for the agenda that you had for your group meeting, and what you accomplished. That's basically what's gonna be every week. Now you know that you've been introduced to the second project in a formal way.
Question.
Yeah.
You know that the source thing? How many takes us to another university?
Huh?
Like nobody can log on.
I'll call it guy. Is everybody's registered? I mean, everybody's got a confirmation in front of the guy. Okay.
And they're using the wrong email for mine.
What?
Using the wrong email for mine because I had to pay it with my auntie.
Oh, okay. So I'll get him to try to. I'll ask him to change yours to you. He can switch it. We're a small group, so yeah. You probably saw they work with some big universities. And what it is that the projects all get listed. People who are not necessarily part of a class like this can actually bid into them and do them over time. So they might want to do it over the vacation, over summer, or something like that. So that's what that site is set up for, among other things. And then you're going to see. So I'll talk to them. I got to get them to turn it on first. That's the first thing. And then you'll see milestones. The first milestone will be this business plan that you're making for Super Stoked. And your reflections right now are going to also now include the discussion we had today and the things that you're thinking about doing for the creation of the business and the website. So you go from there. Does that make sense for your reflection? And I will get in touch with the guy to adjust the internet stuff because I don't know jack about internet.
And you would have talked to him about the email change, right?
Yeah, I'll talk to him about all that stuff. I got to get him to do all of that because I have no skills. And that's not my site, so I can't change anything on it, right? Unless I hack it. And I don't have those kind of skills.
I was just wondering what your guys' interest, like really fast, like just like what do you guys like? When you like, oh, I love playing basketball. I love, playing cards. Like going to Vegas. I don't know. Do you guys have any like specific?
Oh, you
like,
know what you can do? You can tell her. You can email. You guys can email her the site or whatever the what is it called?
Oh,
That Brett created for you guys, and it has all of your bios on it, right?
Oh, really?
Just like once.
Yeah, I mean it's like a one sentence. That's all she wanted, right? So I think unless you want to stay longer, we can stay longer. Everyone wants to go, so you're gonna email Jessica, right? That the link to that webpage, and then hopefully you might also want to email Brett to tell her that you're inviting somebody else into it. So you might have to authorize it, right? Is this like what is it? It's like on Google Drive kind of thing. And then you have to be like a member or you have to be invited or whatever. So he might have to send her something. So tell him that too. Right? So one person from each group, there'll be another assignment. One person from each group. Email Jessica a link to that site. And that same person email Brett to tell him that you're doing that and they may need to be authorized to get it. And then, okay, go quick, go. Before I keep talking.
Running.
I don't see any motion. I can keep talking. Okay, let's stop the recording.